Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Від імені Інституту Святого Володимира вітаю вас. Називаюся Дар'я Ковалик. It's a pleasure to welcome you here via live stream as SVI presents the life of musicians during war with Bandurist and merited musician of Ukraine, Volodymyr Voyt Jr. We'd like to start by acknowledging the land on which this event is being held. Toronto is the territory of many nations. Toronto is the traditional territory, and it includes the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. We encourage you to find out more about the land on which you live and work. It's important for us to start this event with a land acknowledgement because it gives time for reflection and demonstrates respect for Indigenous treaties, lands, and people. We're all accountable for honoring and respecting the history of our land. We're also grateful for the friendship and support that the Ukrainian Canadian settlers received from the Indigenous peoples when they first arrived. They continue to help Ukrainians today by contributing financially to help Ukraine in this current battle against invaders, and also by raising awareness about the importance of respecting its shared past, specifically by wearing the kokum scarves, a symbol of humanity and resilience. And now let me tell you a little bit about St. Volodymyr Institute, or SVI. It's a multifaceted institution here in downtown Toronto, housing a 46-room student residence and providing a home to over 10 organizations, including the Ukrainian Museum of Canada, Ontario branch, the Ukrainian Canadian Research and Documentation Center, and the SUS Foundation of Canada, its founding organization. It is currently home to over 15 students from Ukraine studying in Canada, as well as 2 professors. This year, SVI is celebrating 60 years as a cultural and educational center with a theater, library, and event spaces. And it's a community hub offering cultural programming, Ukrainian language classes, and social events. SVI's library collection is available to all. Cultural programming is key to SVI's vision, mission, history, and legacy. It is key to strengthening the identity and community of individuals of Ukrainian descent while making an important contribution to the national culture of Canada. SVI is proud to present this event today. It has never been more important to feature and share our rich culture and to show our distinctiveness. You will see how Volodymyr is an excellent example of how Ukrainian musicians are creating new music to reflect the spirit of today's Ukraine. We are dedicating this event to all Ukrainian musicians. Slava Ukraini! I'm now happy to pass the floor off to our moderator, Julia Metelitsa. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm obviously very happy to be back at SVI. It's been a while since I've been at an SVI event, so thank you for having me. A few technical reminders, and then we'll get into the conversation with Volodymyr, I promise. So, ця презентація буде проводитись переважно англійською мовою, але якщо маєте питання українською, то напишіть в чат, і я радо перекладу. A few items to keep in mind as we are on Zoom. We kindly ask that everyone stay muted. This ensures we have least interference. So we'd be happy to see you all with your cameras on if that's possible on your end. You're welcome to make comments or questions in the chat. The chat box is located at the bottom of your screen, and all questions will be addressed at the end. Please be aware that the event is being recorded. Thank you, and I do apologize in advance for any technical issues. Let's be happy that we're able to use a platform like Zoom to stream with our wonderful guests from Ukraine. So without further ado, I'm pleased to formally introduce our guest of honor, Volodymyr. Volodymyr is a Ukrainian bandura player, an improviser and a composer born in Kyiv. He graduated from the National Music Academy of Ukraine. He has been recognized as both an honored and merited artist of Ukraine. He performs frequently as a soloist and ensemble musician in Western Europe, North America, and has collaborated with the Ukrainian Bandurist Chorus of North America, Canadian Bandurist Capella, and Axios and Men's Ensemble. He has played with Okean Elze, Julian Kitaske, Viktor Pushkin, Somia Moroz, String Air Synthesis Duo SAS, and others, and is a permanent member of the Hryhorij Verkhovka Ukrainian National Folkloric Ensemble. He has composed the music for the films Stop Revolution, Music of Survival, and Bohdana. He was the initiator and curator of the 2017 and 2018 International Bandura Forums in Kyiv. And Volodymyr promotes the Kharkiv style of playing and the acoustics of historical instruments. He researches the music of the avant-garde period for the bandura and plays in minimalist, ethno-baroque fusion and ethno-renaissance styles, as well as free and structured improvisations. Volodymyr's detailed biography, as I just read, is posted on the SVI website, so I do encourage you to take a look when you have a moment. Volodymyr is joining us directly from Kyiv, Ukraine tonight. It's evening for him, so дуже дякую вам, що ви завітали, і почнемо з твором. Дуже дякую. Дякую, що заграли.
Good evening, friend. Thank you for coming to our concert, our presentation. It's an honor to play for you through the Zoom, through the internet connection. And thank you for supporting Ukrainian musicians and Bandura too. Good evening.
Wonderful.
So it was the first piece. I called it Light in the Window. It's like one light, and nobody knows who live there, and you can see just one window with a light. Actually, this is the first piece of my new album, Morning Path in Deep Snow. And this is like an opening for for listening my soundscapes. So thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, maybe we'll just start with a couple questions then. And of course, I know this evening or this day event is called Life of Musicians During a War. Can you elaborate a bit on what your life has been like since February 24th, 2022, and the full-scale invasion?
Yes. Actually, for us, it was a simple life, you know. The day before, we haven't any ideas what we will do tomorrow, because we had plans. I remember 1 o'clock at the morning, 24th of February 2022. I closed my laptop computer. I finished just application for United States visa, because I must to go to the festival, Ukrainian Contemporary Music Festival last year in the half of March. And it was this time, last chance to send documents to the visa. And I went to sleep. And I remember I didn't hear nothing 4 o'clock in the morning, but 8 o'clock, my mother-in-law called to me, to my number, for cell phone number, and asked where the Ruslana, my wife. She's here, so she sleeps. The war starts. She said the war starts. It was terrible words, and my life and life, lots of Ukrainians changed this line before these words and after. And today I remember, and like 1 year ago, the singers, songwriters, producer, guitarists, and banderists like me from Ukraine changed the world, our world. We go to volunteers, we go to culture, diplomacy, and different ways. And our tonight meeting, here is night, but in Toronto, in West Canada, is still morning, morning. And це дуже велика нагода.
Thank you. And the photos I'm showing guests as you're speaking some of them are the ones that you've taken through the window, or you collected through the windows. So we've seen the three of the explosions, invasions, the one of the sun. Would you like to speak to the ones of the broken? Right now I'm showing the one with the broken glass and in the apartment. Just would you like to speak a little about those and what we're seeing here on the screen as well?
It was maybe the month after. I think it was end of March when the Russians go away from Bucha and Irpin. Actually, the Irpin in Bucha from here, from our building, it's very close. It's about 7 kilometers, and we had no ideas how terrible is it. Today we know, but year ago we didn't. And we have the station here in the forest. Actually, our building, the last of neighborhood. And after our building is a forest, you know, and we have an old station, electric station here. The station doesn't work for many years, but the Russian army attacked this station, and the windows in our building is pretty high. It's about 27 floors here, and lots of windows was just broken, and doors, plastic doors in the balcony. Нас тут не було вже, не було нашої родини, але наші друзі, our friends, still was here, and was every day of this terrible invasion.
And then just want to speak to that photo that we have here showing of the street, how you were sent this photo, because you mentioned you were in Western Ukraine at this point. You left Kyiv, but you were sent a photo of a street, and you mentioned to me earlier that you didn't recognize this. So can you just speak to maybe some of the emotions that passed through your mind?
I think it's Lukyanivka Square. It's a central part of Kyiv, and there is a famous factory in the Soviet Union time. The rocket and bombs and different weapons made there, but not today. And the Russians rockets attacked this factory. And when first time when I saw this picture, actually this neighborhood where my childhood was, I didn't understand what is it place, where is it? Possible Kyiv, but I'm not sure. And after couple seconds, I focused to the photo, to the image, and it was shocked.
Yeah, there's no words for the emotions that I'm sure you felt. We are getting some questions in the chat. I'll just letting the guests know that we'll get to them at the end, just so we can keep going a few other questions first. So Dyakuyu, thank you. I can't imagine the emotions that you're feeling right now as you're describing all of this again.
Yeah, sorry about my English, because 4 years ago, when Volodymyr Zelensky became a president, I heard his English and thought, probably my English is better, but not today.
No, we're understanding everything fine. Thank you, Dyakuyu. So we'll just jump to the next question here, actually. So A Morning Path in Deep Snow, that's the title of your new album. Can you talk a little bit about what inspired the title? And did you compose and record the album during the invasion? Maybe some of your inspirations as well.
Okay, I have some notes here, and I want to say I started recording during the COVID pandemic, when mostly everyone sat at home, and it was impossible to go out, you know that. Then I recorded maybe 50 soundscapes, because I don't call my music like a composition or different, because it's like an improvisation, and the sound very important for me. So I call these soundscapes, and I did not stop further. Such sounds like in the window with which I started, and different piece I will play for you, like 4 Fridays before spring. I recorded in the immediately vicinity of the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. You know, it's a different sound. 4 Fridays like a sweet, not sweet, sorry, like a light sweet music, right? But for me, it was a time for waiting to the spring, to the change, you know. but we didn't. And after that, when the big war starts, I couldn't play, I couldn't hear any musical sounds. It was a terrible time where we have not appetite. We just ate food just for power, because our 2-year-old daughter Teresa, and it was he was pretty cold, you know, and 3 o'clock in the morning, alarm attack, and close up very fast, and the shelter is about 7 minutes from here, and we ran from our apartment to the shelter, and maybe after a week, when invasion started, we moved to my mother-in-law home at the Lviv region, and we stayed there for a couple weeks. And I called to my friend from Lviv, Bogdan, and asked him, Bogdan, I need the bandura, I need the instrument, because I can't sit and don't play. Please give me your bandura. Bogdan is not a professional, but he has a wonderful instrument. Він позичив для мене.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You were able to borrow it from him. Please keep going. Yes.
І після цього, after that, my big group, where I played last 15 years, it's a national Grigori Verevka, national folkloric ensemble, very famous and renowned group. Had a tour to the West Europe, and they moved from Kiev through the Lviv to Poland, and I came to the train, and we had a tour about a month and 20 days on the West Europe. Played lots, and it was a real culture diplomacy, you know. І після того, як я повернувся, and after I came back, я забрав свою родину у Львові, і ми повернулись до Києва. After the tour, we came back to Kyiv. І тут я весь час вже я, і моя дружина, і моя маленька донька, наші друзі, мої батьки, моя тітка, ми всі тут в Києві є.
So now you're saying your whole family is now in Kyiv, your wife, your daughter, your whole family. It's interesting to see what obviously what artists have been doing during this time. So thank you for elaborating on your album.
All right. Probably I would like to play something for you more. Yes, I just see my list and think what the interesting.
For sure.
All right. Maybe I want to play for you in another instrument. The piece on the verge. Actually, it's a first piece after the invasion.
Thank you. Yes, and I know a few are wondering about the connection. Some of the bandura sounds we're hearing, obviously the music, but if it does cut out, we do apologize. That is just the capacities of Zoom, but it's being recorded and you'll be able to rehear it in a better capacity post-event. Just wanting to flag that. So please take it away, Volodymyr. Дякую. Thank you, Volodymyr. Actually, as you played this next song, I wanted to ask about the bandure, which you feature on the album. And I know you have 4 bandure right now, 1 on your lap and 3 behind you. So maybe you can quickly chat about the different bandure on the album, which ones you use, what they're used for. But I know everyone is interested to know why there's so many and what their different purposes are.
Ви що запитали?
Oh, tak, sorry. I don't know if you heard. I was just asking about the bandure that you feature on the album. And I was saying there's 4 right now that are around you, 1 behind you, 3 more
Yeah.
on the counter. Which one, why do you pick one over the other? What are they used for, I guess, particularly for each different song on your album?
Okay. Actually, it's all Kharkiv style banduras. We have two styles, two popular styles like a Kiev style and Kharkiv style. The Kharkiv style, ну не знаю, так сказати, поширював Гнат Хоткевич. He was
It was spread. Sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. I'm saying it was spread by.
Yes, he was first intelligent who took a bandura to hand. He was not blind, and the Kobzars was blind. Hotkevich understood he couldn't become a Kobzar, a real Kobzar, true Kobzar, and he saw to the bandura in the musician way, how this instrument can to be like a cool musical instrument, not just like an ethnographic or ministerial instrument. And probably he was the first person who saw how bandura can play in modern music, like contemporary for his time. And when the Second World War started, it was after Hotkevich, the Soviet regime shooting, and the Kyiv Capella with the Grigori Kitasti moved to the camps, post camps in Germany, and there the Kitasti met the 2 brothers, two genius of bandura building. This is Honcharenko, Alexander, and Petro Honcharenko. And this wonderful bandura makers start the special form and special shape of Kharkiv style bandura. And actually here is a 4 bandura of Honcharenko style. But who made it? The first bandura and the second made the Ukrainian from England. His name is Vasily Glad from Gloucester, and this is a wonderful instrument. Next 2 instruments made Canadian bandura maker Vasil Wetzel from Oshawa. He's a wonderful. This is a fiberglass banduras. It's a plastic. It's not a wood. And he start to make bandura in this way. And what I will say, all instruments are different tuning. I make a different preparation. The last one is with a preparation. It's very interesting for a specific soundscapes, and it's a big honor for me play for you in bandura was made in Canada.
We're honored. Thank you so much. Thank you. I was gonna say, in the next question I have, unless you would like to play a song, but the next one, I know we've seen many videos of musicians of various genres of music across social media. Wondering what they're doing at this time. Are they able to create, record, work? Maybe some of the obstacles. Would you like to speak to this, of what other musicians are facing as well?
I want to deeper understanding your interesting question. Can you reply me in Ukrainian, please?
Так. Ну, справді хотіла зрозуміти, як інші музиканти зараз проживають, як їм ідеться, які різні були, може, обставини, що в них, що виходить, що не виходить, чи вони можуть далі музику творити, чи можуть награвати, працювати, чи як там, я знаю, може, хочете теж трохи про Billboard поговорити, але можете рішити, що вам легше перше.
Добре, дякую. Actually, every musicians have a specific way, individual way, and for me, like a member of big group, it's one way. For the soloist, it's another way, and ми можемо грати, we can play concerts. The big halls is not empty, it's full. No seats empty. For example, yesterday was a big concert. Yesterday and 2 days ago, in Palats Ukraina in Kyiv, is a new star. His name Pivovarov. Maybe you heard this name. I didn't hear. But 2 days, the Palats Ukraina, it's the biggest hall in Ukraine. It was full. So the public, the audience, very hungry for music, very hungry for artists, musicians, singers, and another musicians from our group too went to the war because he had досвід і військова спеціальність.
He had the knowledge of being of serving before, yes.
And these guys at the army, at the war. And на жаль, дехто з митців полях за Україну, на цій жахливій війні.
So yes, it is a very sad that, as you mentioned, that some musicians who have gone to fight have died for their country. So that is the reality as well. I know you mentioned that the stadium is full because people are hungry for music, as this is something that's keeping them, maybe keeping them away from the realities.
Sorry, Юля. Я особливо хочу відзначити мого приятеля, мого друга по консерваторії, з яким ми разом навчались. Це Юрій Кирпатенко, the conductor from Kherson. I think the whole world heard about Юрій. Він керував оркестром в Херсоні, коли Херсон був під окупацією. І Юрій відмовився працювати з москалями, він відмовився диригувати і грати для них музику, за що був вбитий. Ось, і дуже довго ніхто не знав, що його вбили. І ми довго не знали, тому що інформація не доходила. Але пізніше великі музичні авторитети, такі як Клаудіо Аббадо, the conductor, говорив про Юрія. І мені здається, перші журнали і газети писали про нього. Ось. Тобто ми бачимо такий досвід. Одні люди займаються культурною дипломатією, інші воюють, і не всі вже є з нами.
Just to sum up what you just said, that it is a tragedy that not all are with us right now. Some right now are using the time to continue creating music to ensure that those in the general public can keep living, while others are serving on the front lines. And as you mentioned, the conductor who did pass away. So вічна йому пам'ять. It's not easy, of course, to even put this to words. With that said, I know in 2022 there was the Billboard article, and in the article a variety of different musicians were featured. And I know you were featured in the article, so I'll share that in the chat for everyone to read if they do have a moment. But maybe you want to just speak to this, what this was like. They featured you in 2022 and then again in 2023, Volodymyr?
Yes. 2022, the first number of Billboard, and 2023, this year after. And this article about how the life of musician changed. It's really interesting. It's not very much change. The musicians still musicians, but someone really became a soldier, refugees and volunteers. Lots of people. Actually, the old people in Ukraine, probably old people, the volunteers in a different way. So, чи потрібно, може я щось не зрозумів?
Ні, все зрозуміло, я розумію. Я тільки показую нашим глядачам, що the article, що є онука, and Віра Богданін, and yourself.
Не бачу screen, sorry.
No, that's okay. Just showing, so that way if you do want to check out the article later, I did put it in the chat, but a variety of different Ukrainian musicians were featured, Volodymyr included, and then in 2023 they did another article on it, and there's even a YouTube video where you can listen to the article instead of read it, so I put that in the chat as well. So with that said, I guess another question to ask is, how can we help Ukrainian musicians at this time? What is the best way to support musicians?
I think it's a very interesting question for me, really, because all doors in the world was opening for Ukrainian people. And I want to say thank you for Canada, because I know that lots of Ukrainians moved through the ocean to Canada, and some banderists in Canada too today, with the different their job today. Maybe no playing, but я розумію таке життя. І мені здається, I think важливо, it's important розрізняти, є таке розуміння як продукт війни, the product of war. Тобто деякі музиканти зловили, ми кажемо, це називаємо хайп, і стали became a musician, because, тому що це можна було зробити деякі речі. Або навпаки, ті люди, які повинні були б займатися, і вони через різні причини полишили це. І я думаю, I think for us, for the musicians from Ukraine, in Ukraine, very important have a place, площадка, ну так як зараз це платформа з проект Інституту Святого Володимира, де ми можемо говорити зі світом і розповідати правдиві історії і те, що пережили ми, і займатися, власне, культурною дипломатією. І за останній рік, наприклад, особисто у мене, for me, personality, I had it, 3 big festivals in Great Britain, in United States, and in Slovakia. І я мав, and I had a wonderful можливість, прекрасну можливість доносити і говорити про наші справи до широкої публіки, до широкої громади. І саме говорити в той час, коли вона слухала, коли вона готова слухати. Дуже важливо, мені здається, скористатись моментом, коли тебе запитують і готові слухати. Так що, на мою думку, найкращий варіант – це подавати можливість українським митцям, і не лише музикантам, а й художникам, і митцям з кінематографу, які роблять кіно, і іншим спеціальностям можливість говорити про Україну, доносити, що, власне, відбувається у нас, не лише як новини, але як ситуація і серце людини. Дякую.
Yeah, thank you, Volodymyr. I'm just going to sum up quickly what you said in English in case someone perhaps maybe didn't understand. Volodymyr did mention that the best way, or the one way we can support Ukrainian musicians is through giving them a platform, such as he mentioned St. Volodymyr Institute. So providing a platform where artists, and not just musicians, but other artists as well, can share their craft, can be supported, and also then talk about what is going on in Ukraine, about the war, and in this way continue to amplify their voices and continue to support their craft. So, Volodymyr, I think I summed up what you said, and we have a couple questions from the audience, but I'll wait, as I think you would like to play another song.
Може, я зіграю зараз?
Yes, perfect. Yes.
Canadian bandura.
Дякую, thank you. Nice way to end on the Canadian bandura. So just jumping into, there's two questions from the audience, I think, unless I've missed something else. So I'll start with one, which is very interesting, and I can translate it if needed, but the question is, the more we learn about sound, the more the more we learn about sound, the more we realize how powerful its effect on us. Some of Volodymyr's soundscapes help our perception of chaos, of the war, but are there soundscapes that he can use to promote mental health and well-being? Sound therapy for anxiety and trauma using the familiar and pleasant sound of familiar instrument of Ukraine. Чи хочете, щоб я переклала?
Yes, it's a really serious.
Yes, a very serious question. Так, я думаю, якщо правильно зрозуміла, то кажуть, що більше, що ми вчимося про звук, то більше розуміємо, яке справді цей ефект має на нас. І питають, чи ваші soundscapes, ваші твори можуть допомогти в здоров'ї щодо ментального здоров'я і внутрішнього, і чи то може допомогти в травмі, якщо хтось слухає до пісні чи твору, що щось їм знайоме, і чути пісню з України, чи це може бути вжите для травми, чи допомагати з здоров'ям і дальшою.
I understand, like a medicine, yes.
Exactly, yes, be a medicine. Дякую.
Я розумію. Ну, я не є тим, хто заперечить важливість звуку. Дійсно, звук, this sound, це дуже потужна річ, тому що за рахунок звуку створюється дуже багато що. Чи може просто мелодія, ностальгічна мелодія, як ностальгія, комусь щось пригадати і щось змінити? На сьогоднішній день, я думаю, що ні. Чому? Тому що зараз у нас є інтернет, ви розумієте? Будь-яка людина може зайти в інтернет і послухати будь-яку мелодію на будь-якому інструменті. І тут неважливо зіграти щось знайоме або щось таке ностальгічне. Мені здається, що на сьогоднішній день, today, більш важливо є саме впливати звуком. І тут неважливо, яку музику ти граєш, знайому чи не знайому. Тому що бандура настільки унікальний інструмент, що просто дотик до струни, в найпростіший спосіб, просто зіграною одною рукою, воно може повністю ось. Реве та стогне Дніпро широкий. The first radio jingle. Ось. Тому я погоджуюсь і трошки хочу, знаєте, уточнити. Трошки ось який спосіб ми можемо впливати. Тому питання дійсно цікаве, тому що мене дуже цікавить звук, і бандура дуже пов'язана з цим. Як ми можемо лікувати і впливати? Ну, давайте пробувати. Дякую за ідею, я про це подумаю.
So just summing up what Volodymyr said, that the question was very interesting to him. He was saying perhaps it's maybe not the melody, but and maybe it's not the type of sound that matters, but just in general, music can be used to heal any sort of trauma. He doesn't know particularly on bandura being used to treat any sort of trauma or mental health, but he's willing to look into this and to see what's possible and for us to try, because it's all sorts of music that can be used for healing and mental health reasons to deal with trauma or anxiety. And another question for you, Volodymyr, maybe just a general one, and this goes back to where you've been since the invasion, but a few people asked why you decided to stay in Ukraine. I know you did travel to a few concerts, but just wondering why not leave? I think I know the answer, but I'm just hoping to hear it.
Okay. Справжні чоловіки повинні залишитись в Україні.
Yeah, you're saying the real men should stay in the country. I'm just translating.
For me, like a musician, like a bandura player, very important, що я можу поїхати за кордон, грати там і повернутися.
It's very important for you to be able to leave and come back. Go and play your songs and probably amplify what is going on in Ukraine, if that's what you're getting to.
Є випадки, що люди, музиканти виїжджають з України, полишають Україну. Я не можу їх засуджувати в ніякий спосіб. В кожного є своя межа якогось страху чи своя межа взагалі сприйняття. Я не можу їх засуджувати, я повторюсь, в ніякий спосіб. Але моя мета – це їхати у світ, говорити про Україну, показати, як звучить Україна. Тому що дехто не може побачити або дізнатися, уявімо, якщо людина сліпа, так, вона не може, вона тільки новини може послухати. Але цей звук і ці soundscapes, вони можуть дати і показати дуже багато. І мені важливо бути тут в Україні, мені важливо бути тут з моєю родиною і з нашими друзями. Ось я не бачу іншого варіанту для себе. Дуже багато людей прагне виїхати. І коли я перетинаю кордон, when I cross the border, I see the different man. Хто як себе поводить і в кого які плани, то відразу видно. Мій план бути тут.
Yeah. So summing up what you said, your plan is to stay in Ukraine, and you're not judging anyone who maybe has left Ukraine at this moment, and it's not your role to judge, but you did say that your ultimate goal is to leave Ukraine to educate people to come back, be with your family, but then also an interesting point you did say is that not all can see, so those that are blind are also able to hear, and the music that you create can help them understand more about what is going on in Ukraine, and so far. So I think I summed up what you did say, and I just obviously people are wondering where they can find your recordings. I wanted to mention that today one of your albums, or this album, did release. If you want to speak about it, or I can also mention it is on all major platforms. It's all on all the platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. So we'll send a link post the event. But I know that you did mention that the album is live today, and we can also find your music on your YouTube channel. So I'm putting the YouTube link into the chat for now, but we will send a link to the albums, or to Spotify and the other platforms that you're on. Is that correct, Pravda?
Все вірно. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Я хочу вам, I want to play for you the 4 Frights Until Spring.
Wonderful. Thank you. Дякую.
Дякую.
So we will be wrapping up our event today, unless there were any other questions that any guests had. So I just want to encourage everyone to go on to Volodymyr's YouTube channel, hear his wonderful soundscapes there. Also, like I mentioned, the album is now live on all the major platforms, so we'll send you a link after the event. And we do encourage you to support Volodymyr and other artists as well now and to continue supporting artists throughout. So I don't know, Volodymyr, if you have any other final words?
For number, bandura number 4.
Wonderful. Дуже вам дякую. I was just going to say, дуже вам дякую, Володимире.
Я зрозумів, що ви сказали. Я запитую, чи ви хочете почути ще одну бандуру? Would you like to hear last one bandura from Canada, or you have some question?
Oh, I was just going to say we're wrapping up, but if you want to play something short on the last one, sure. Як хочете щось коротке заграти, то можете, але якраз ми тільки кінчаємо, то...
Добре, я зіграю вам.
Супер.
На титри останні.
On the Canadian one, to end us off.
Щоб не міняти. Добре. Це називається Dark in Kyiv. Коли у нас вимикали світло, коли ми мали blackout. This song about this. Дякую.
Дякуємо вам. Thank you very much again. And a few other thank yous to all our guests who joined us today. I know the event would not have been the same without you. So thank you everyone for joining us from your homes or wherever you may have been. I also want to remind everyone that the event was recorded. It'll be available on the SVI YouTube channel. And if you know someone who missed it, you'll be able to let them know about it and rewatch the event. I also want to thank our generous sponsors. Of course, tonight's event was free. So thank you to St. Volodymyr Institute gratefully acknowledges and thanks BCU Financial, Shevchenko Foundation, Ukrainian Canadian Veteran Fund, and the SUS Foundation of Canada, Delta Bingo and Gaming. So thank you to our generous sponsors. And we hope to see everyone again at an event soon, perhaps in person or online as well. So on this note, we conclude today's event. We wish everyone a wonderful day or evening and hope to see everyone soon. Дякую знову, Володимире, і до побачення. Добраніч.
Дякую. Слава Україні.
Слава Україні, героям слава.